Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Garden of Sinners final record reading, also known as Garden of Oblivion, because, some of these things just like to have multiple titles, just for no real reason. I think it's because of the fact that, like, you can read Japanese characters in, like, different ways. That's my only thought. I don't know. I'm not an expert on this stuff. What I am an expert on is knowing that I didn't really bring this up last time, but there was a couple strange errors in the reading there in the text, and I just did take a quick look, and it did say like, yeah, this was absolutely a first draft. The girlfriend translated it, and this was just done right away, and it wasn't fully polished, and the boyfriend said he was going to polish it, but as far as I'm aware, there is no polished version of the post. So this is what we got. If I have to say things in a slightly different way to make it more sensical, because the reading is a bit strange, I will be doing that. Because some of these sentences, if I read them as is, well, it doesn't sound normal coming out of a human mouth. So that is just something I'll be doing here. So I've not uploaded the first video. There's no feedback from what people are saying, obviously. So otherwise, it's just the next day. I got my book. See, it's right here. Boom, bam. We're ready to go. I'm excited because I've been thinking about this, and I'm like, where do we go from here? So let's get started with Chapter 2, which starts at 2 o'clock and goes until 4:30. So the last chapter went to 11:30. So it's been a little bit. Huh. Well, immediately, I'm just like, okay, 01. Huh? What? Okay. It was as if she had heard someone calling out. Shizune Seo opened her eyes. The time just passed 7 p.m. She picked herself up from the high-grade leather sofa and gave a little yawn. Ah, I really fell asleep. One person in the whole cinema. How boring. This was a home theater, which is as big as a classroom. Shizune Seo, the only audience, was really bored and finally fell asleep. The projector quietly played a film that was not really popular. The screen was playing a horror thriller. It was about a group of schoolgirls that was trapped in the mountains surrounded by zombies. Shizune Seo watched till the end with an air of unconcern. To be more precise, because it was too gory that the attention of the movie had changed. The speakers were playing background music. Even though the speakers were really loud, her heart was unusually calm. It may be due to the sound being too unrealistic, rather. Too unrealistic, okay. If there was only one person in the theater, no matter how loud the speaker, you won't feel like it was crowded. Shizune Seo absently watched the unentertaining tragedy. I thought that we already agreed on watching this movie together. But nobody came. The promise with Shizune Seo was completely negligible for the girls staying at the dorm. Well, everyone should be tired, I thought optimistically. It should almost be dinner. Should proceed to the kitchen to prepare some food. However, I didn't have the energy to do anything at that moment, so I just continued to watch the horror movie I didn't even like in a trance. The projector's sound, the air conditioner's sound, the fluorescence that traversed in the dark room. The surround sound that played the horrified scream of the main actor. Also, other than the speakers, there was someone else's scream that came from outside the room. Really, at the end, it really turned out to be this way. I sighed while getting up from the comfortable sofa. If everyone didn't gather at the projector room, there'll be a murder. I had already warned them about this kind of future, this bunch of people that gave me a headache. Shizune Seo pouted and left the projector room, because it was also this kind of bad end, this kind of future, this kind of result. We yet again lost our goal. We made life-threatening mistakes on our way forward. Okay. Okay, so immediately I'm like, loop? Thinking loops? We got loops going on? I mean, they've used the words bad end over and over, which of course is notable for being, well, what happens in visual novels when you make bad mistakes. Does she have basically visual novel powers of, or does someone have visual novel powers of time reset pretty much? I don't know. I'm very curious. There was the one up there, right? Does that mean the first loop? But I mean, I'm looking down at the two and I immediately see it says right there, I walked out of the projector room, so maybe not. Very curious. Very curious. So I guess we just gotta continue and see what happens. I walked out of the projector two. I walked out of the projector room, and the sound of the rain came from outside the building. It was 7 o'clock at night. Also, the time doesn't match up, right? The sunlight was not visible, and there was a limited amount of lights around, so the corridor was pitch black. The corridor was interwoven with lights from man-made sources and the darkness of the night. It was an ocean of colors, or you can say it was like the curtains used during the funeral, both colors mixing together. The corner of the corridor was abnormally bright. It was only here that was as dark as when you were in a cave. I turned right immediately after leaving the projector room, walked past the corridors on the north side, headed towards the way that could access the lounge on the first floor. At the same time, due to my habit of memorizing insignificant small details, such as the lights of three rooms during the way towards the foyer were not turned on. This is the guest house of the Ryan Girls Academy Natsumi Hall. This Western-style building was built onto 300 square meters, onto an area of 300 square meters, and the hall is very fitting with the name of a snake, a theme park with a quirky style. The first floor of Natsumi Hall had guest rooms, with the second floor contained entertainment facilities. There were 9 guest rooms on the first floor, but the links in between the rooms were really particular. Imagine one side of a cube. Divide the cube into 9 equal parts, with 3 rooms in each vertical and horizontal plane. If it was just like that, you could say it was really rare. The most unusual part is the way the rooms were connected. The room in the center was room 0, followed by the rest around it. From the top, it was designed to be like a curled-up snake. For example, the person staying at room 1, they needed to get through from room 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and also the locks were on from the other side, so you had to get to the person living in the rooms to open the door. Wow, this is up there with the yin-yang place for convoluted, like, architecture. What's going on? Nasu, why does this whole town have horrible architecture? To get back to your own room would use up a lot of energy. Even though there was a universal key, it was thrown into the furnace by its previous owner during its completion. It was a deliberate defect in the structure. It was more emphasized than the comfort of life. Oh, thank God. Oh? We have names on here that are interesting. This is very interesting. Well, it's a damn good thing I have the guide up for people to see. Room 0 has nobody. Room 1 is Kokuto. Room 2 is Kono. I'm just gonna do a quick Google. Garden of Sinners. Who's Kono? Kono is... Oh, I'm getting pictures of a girl from Sword Art Online. That's not who I want at all. Probably because, again, I'm defaulted to Bing. Bing sucks. Garden of Sinners. Kono. Oh, but even Google doesn't have it. That must be a new character. That, or it's someone else who we just don't know. Okay. Okay, so then Miyazuki, Ryogi, Asagami Seo, and Oji. Okay. Okay. There's no... Unless Kokuto is Azaka, which it might be. But my mind first went to, you know, the other Kokuto. And then on the top floor we have... Okay, so she went out the projection room. There's a playroom, collection room, study, kitchen, dining room, and dart room. Oh God, I'm getting huge flashbacks to the strawberry house from Danganronpa. Oh God. Oh God. Okay. Oh wow, okay, I just read slightly ahead. Let's continue. architect by an that the fanatic architect by an alumnus built the building according to the request of a mysterious atmosphere of a stage that could be targeted by murder. 1. Hi, I called it Danganronpa. 2. Why would you do that? It was either the person who made the request or accepted the request that had an incurable disease. This year was the 7th year since the completion of the building. For example, if there were 8 people staying in the room simultaneously, the snake god will kill everyone. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, we're good. Whew. Okay, we're good. For example, the confinement of the illegitimate child of the OG clan. What? For example, a Cthulhu that could destroy the worlds that was sealed in the basement, and other supernatural stories. I don't think I've ever heard the term a Cthulhu, but okay. However, this time, everyone that was putting up for the night were gathered at the first floor foyer. Needless to say, Shizune Seo just reached the foyer. Azaka Kokuto, Asagami Fujino, Risu Miyazuki. I do have to Google her. I do have to quickly Google her. Let's see here. Risu Miyazuki. Is that the other girl that was with them? Let's see here. That's the red hair girl. Okay? That's the red hair girl from Garden of Sinners Extra Chorus. Right. Right. Okay. She makes sense. I know her. We're all good with that. Whew. That's one less one to worry about, I guess. Okay. So, yeah. Azaka Kokuto, Asagama Fujino, Risu Miyazuki, Shika Ryogi were in the same year as Shizune Seo. It's interesting that Shiki Ryogi's there, but okay. As well as Messiah Oji, that was in senior high and former president of the student council. In total, there were 6 young ladies silently staring at each other. Oh, this is confusing. Why are they here? We'll have to learn. At the instant when I witnessed it, I felt a headache like dizziness. Shizune Seo was forced to see the most horrible future. After 10 hours from now, 5 o'clock before the dawn of the next day, the illusion of her death. I heard a scream just now. What happened, Shiki-chan? I adjusted my emotions before speaking to Ryogi Shiki. Something troublesome happened. We were waiting for you, Shizune-san, because we heard that among one of us we heard that among one of us were killed. Among us. Ryogi-san smiled, her entire body filled with contrived elegance. After that happened during the summer, Shizune Seo and Shiki Ryogi became pen pals. I'm assuming that means the summer incident. This time, Shizune Seo came to Natsume Hall due to her sincere invitation. After all, the guest house was prohibited for students. Someone was murdered? That's not a joke, right? Of course it was real. At this point in time, no one would even laugh at a murder, even if it was a joke. That was a bit outdated. Ryogi-san was as elegant as a butterfly at that moment and maintained her faint smile. Right. That was everyone. Let's go back to the scene of the crime. Maybe some people may want to follow, but it is also to be fair. No matter how you complain later, it will only be a waste of time. Kokuto-san used an unquestionable tone to make her conclusion. She, Ryan Girls Academy's #1 prodigy, was born with an air of leadership. Was the person really dead? Did you see it wrongly? Asagami Fujino asked the question humbly. She looked like a Japanese doll, born with a frail body. She could only walk with crutches. It was rumored that her eyes were injured a year ago, but she could still see somewhat. Is this in the past? It might be in the past. Very good. That was very good, Asagami-san. The murder at the Cursed Hall, it feels like a Pandora PV. My main character powers are going to increase again. Now let's end this all in gorgeousness again. Boy, this translation is a bit wacky. That's like some of the stuff that would almost certainly be fixed up for a official English version, but we are working with a direct translation. This is one of the things that, I mean, I'm gonna talk about it a bit here, but the problems with a direct translation is stuff that sounds really good in Japanese does not sound really good in English, so you do have to kind of play it up, right? It just is what it is there. So okay. The person that was singing while spinning in circles was OG Senpai that everyone loved. Really? That doesn't seem like her. That does not seem like the OG Senpai we know at all. Whoa, man, what? Why is she like this? She couldn't read the atmosphere, hence this level of noisiness everyone had already experienced before. OG Senpai's optimism is a cure at this moment. Even though it makes you a little bit annoyed, it also lifts everyone's spirits. Risu Miyazuki-san mumbled to herself. Even though her looks were not as good compared to Ryogi-san and Kokuto-san, her eyes revealed firmness. This allowed others to have a feeling of honesty, yet she could hit you in the back if you forced her. There were a total of 6 people here in the foyer. Azaka-san said, "Everyone's here." Thus, the 7th person that was not here, staying at room 2, Fumio Kono-san, the one that was sacrificed. Fumio Kono. Have we... Okay, now that I got a full name. Now that we got a full name, I'm going to do a quick Google. The reason I don't show Google is in case any spoiler stuff comes up, so... Okay. She... Wait a sec. Is she the one... She's the class president of D1. Is she the one who... kills herself? I don't actually know. She at least looks like her. There is a picture of her from what looks like a manga there, but... Okay, okay. Regardless, it is... Okay. It's not an important character then too much. That's the important thing. Okay, well. Let's continue. 3. We were walking from the foyer to Asagami-san's room 6. From here we went through rooms 5, 4, and 3, which were temporary corridors, and arrived at the scene of the crime at room 2. At the moment we walked into room 2, the horrible sight caught everyone's attention. The whole room was pitch black. No, more accurately, it was burned till everything became like that. I indirectly thought about a canvas that was colored entirely with charcoal. There was an incident in the past at a building in the Ryan Girls Academy. It was entirely burnt down. Even though her whole body was almost burnt till it was unrecognizable, you should still recognize her stature. Kono-san's height was 176 centimeters, and it's completely right. Azaka Kokuto stood in front of the items that could be the victim's belongings and reported to us. In the room that was completely burnt, Fumio Kono's body laid in the middle of the room. She was completely burnt. At the place that she could have fallen onto was a thin black layer. It was the same as the ashes gathered on the ceiling. I heard someone mutter. Kono-san, who was good at basketball, was the only female student with this height. Among us, there were... Sorry, I can't believe I read that, and it hit me. There were none that hit her height, so it was determined that the body was Kono-san's. We silently observed the situation of the room. Asagami-san and Miyazuki-san, that used to look honest, were passionately investigating. It was as if we declared to not forgive the arsonist. The criminal left spiderweb traces of clues in the room. Even though the cause of death is unknown, from the burn marks from the fire, it's apparent that it happened between 4 and 6 p.m. Oh. That's... Was that the times from the thing? No, because that's 2 and 6:30. I'm wondering why they said it was 7 then. Huh, okay. But alright, Ryogi-san plainly said. Well, would it be too early to say that the cause of death is due to the fire? Misaya-san gingerly examined Kono-san's body while retorting. Her boldness before was just a show. She could already be dead before the fire, such as hit by a blunt weapon, stabbed by a sharp weapon, or ingesting poison before burning to death. Those kinds of possibilities. Just as Shiki-san said, any conclusion made now is still too early. We still have no way of examining the body. We're just guessing now. I already knew the actual future and was not just guessing, but I can't say it out loud. Even though I proclaimed that I could see the future, it would only raise suspicion. Right now, the only person that knew Shizune Seo was a seer is Messiah Oji. Did this happen in the past then? Is that what we're getting at? It must be what we're getting at then, because at this point, if only Oji knows, this must be in the past? Maybe? I don't know. We'll see. We cannot determine the killing method. Being burnt to this state is no different from dissecting a frog. However, I think we could still determine the killer. Is that right, Kokuto-san? Ujino Asagami smiled and glanced at Azaka Kokuto. That smile sent chills down the back of the rest of us. What are you trying to say? Are you suspecting that I did it, Asagami-san? I'm just stating the obvious. The guest rooms of this hotel are arranged in such a way that the number is ascending from the inside outwards. The ones that could enter the crime scene are Kono-san in room 3, or Kokuto-san staying at room 1. Indeed, that was solid evidence, or rather it was an obvious exclusion method. Even though the motive and method were unknown, the number of suspects will be narrowed down if we refer to the clue about the people who have the ability to enter the room. Due to the strange design of the hotel, the number of suspects were reduced to 2 people. What nonsense are you spouting, Asagami-san? Could you be more specific when referring to the situation, please? It should be that the only way I could enter room 2 is only with the permission of Kono-san. However, Kokuto-san could just quietly open the door and sneak in without Kono-san noticing, right? Miyazuki implied. Hey, I didn't notice that yet. You really are detailed, Miyazuki-san. Even so, slow down a bit, please. There was no one else that entered room 2? I'm sorry. Your theory is not plausible, Kokuto-san. I could be sure of that when I was at room 4. There was no one that went through my room from 4 o'clock till now. No one will be able to escape my gaze. That is like a hungry lioness pacing the room. After that, Miyazuki-san and Kokuto-san's reached Oji-san's room door at halfway past 7, right? They let it blah, 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 blah. This is getting complicated because I'm trying to think and read at the same time. Okay. They later ran out from room 3 in a panic-stricken state after discovering Kono-san's body. That's right. Their faces were very serious, saying, "Something bad happened, please gather everyone quickly." This is why we first headed to the lobby and met up with Asagami-san and Ryogi-san. That's right. The scream that I heard just as the song ended should be from Miyazuki-san after she discovered the body. It was just like I'm in a zombie movie. Wait. Was the whole last chapter Future Sight? Oh, God. That's wrong. That one, well, Oji-san's action was more suspicious than ours. Why is Senpai restless, wandering in circles in the room in the first place? You said you were like a lion, but at most you're like a lost squirrel. I was troubled when Shizune invited me to watch a movie. It was a rare chance that someone kindly asked me out, so it could not be rejected. But it was a horror film. Yeah, not very educational. Ah, you actually are scared. Oji-senpai is a scaredy cat that only knows how to act tough. Exactly. I heard that she was extremely opposed to coming here as well. Well, isn't that great? Oji-senpai is so popular among the lower year students because she acts like a princess, though it does annoy the heck out of others. Yep, you're spot on. Not bad. Are you making fun of me? Darn, it was not the time to bully Oji-senpai. We should contact the police first, but that was not probable. The only tool of communication is the phone of the staff office in the entire Ryan Girls Academy. We cannot leave now, partly due to everyone agreeing on not opening the hotel's entrance. Why would you do that? Why? This is... The situation is like this in the end. Why don't we stay here for the night and later get help in the morning? All right, I agree. What about the killer? Shall we punish the suspects? Punishment, as in we constrain and lock them up? Hey, that is murder. If left defenseless in the situation, it would be so easy to be murdered. You guys want to be the second victim? Kokuto-san's words were intuitive remarks as she was a mystery maniac. I understand what's being said here, even if it's worded awkwardly. However, this is the best way to control the situation. You might as well give it up. Everyone will sleep better if you were tied up. Asagami-san was always merciless when it comes to Kokuto-san. At that moment, Miyazuki-san raised her voice. I have a suggestion. I will stay here with Kokuto-san tonight. Here, as in our rooms. Oji-san will use her cupboard to block the door for one night. As for Kokuto-san and I'll stay at room 1. Kokuto-san will sleep in room 2. That way, Kokuto-san, that's the most suspicious, won't have a way to leave room 3. When it's morning, I can head to room 3. How's that? It'll be an entirely locked room, right? Seiyo-san and the others will be able to sleep peacefully, and I can be rest assured. Well, that is a pretty good idea. The idea of temporarily turning room 3 into an isolated room by making use of the fact that the rooms can only be locked on one side. Please refer to the diagram if you are lost. Thank you. What do you think, Kokuto-san? Since Miyazuki suggested it, I can only agree to it. And we are both suspects as well. Alright, I'll spend the room at night 3. Please remember to open the door to room 4 in the morning. Kokuto-san unwillingly agreed to it. We went our separate paths later. Miyazuki-san went to room 1, while Kokuto-san stayed at room 3. The rest of us moved towards room 4 and used the cupboard and book rack to block the doorway. Later, we stayed at the lobby of the second floor to continue our discussion. Okay, Miyazuki room 1, Kokuto in room 3. Okay, so Miyazuki in room 1, Kokuto in room 3. Okay. Okay, because... Oh god, this layout is the worst, huh? This layout is the worst layout ever. Why would you build your hotel this way? This is so stupid. Okay, they went up to the lounge on the second floor, though. Oh my god, it's so stupid. Okay. 4. The time was 8 p.m. We were drinking tea made by Ryogi-san at the lounge on the second floor. The atrium was built in such a way that it was well ventilated. The lounge was designed to look like an indoor balcony. The lights from the atrium were bright enough to light it up and somehow lift our mood. A murder case really happened. Although I should not say this, but this is too careless. Ryogi-san had a gentle smile on her face while she reached out for a cup. She was not affected in the slightest from the sinister situation. Are you not afraid, Shiki-chan? Or rather, are you not curious? This could be an impossible crime. Kono-san was murdered in a locked room, and the murder method is still unclear yet. I am afraid, but I'm not curious. No matter if Kono-san that ended up dead or Kokuto-san or Oji-senpai, it has nothing to do with me. I don't care about things that are not interesting. If you really want to know, I am a little curious. No, I just want to know how the murder was done. How that room was burned and how the fire was put out. It would be impossible from the point of view of a human being, right? Or human being, right? Ah, I was certain the murder was Kokuto-san because she had the ability to summon fire. She's not a murderer? Asagami had not touched the tea that Ryogi-san brewed. She just drank from her own tumbler. It is said to be some form of greenish juice made from several green vegetables, which had an indescribable taste with apples. Healthy! There's no way. A normal person won't be able to spit fire, let alone set fire to everything they touched. Ryogi-san sat up in a cool way and denied. You could say that, Asagami-san, being the most sensible girl in the Ryan Girls Academy, said while revealing a smile that to others could mean his acceptance, but seemed to hide a deeper meaning. Messiah Oji observed their conversation. However, her attention was not on Shiki Ryogi, but on Fujino Asagami. What's wrong, Oji-senpai? Wasn't it you who suggested that we gather up everyone here for discussion and tea? Ah, that's right, Seo-san. I wanted to discuss a countermeasure with everyone. I'll get straight to the point. Who is the murderer among the other two? It must be Kokuto-san. Unfortunately, it is Kokuto-san. Shiki Ryogi and Fujino Asagami immediately replied. Even though the three of them though were not close, they should still trust in each other. Is that so? What's your opinion, Seo-san? Shizune Seo did not have the confidence to accuse someone as being a murderer in reality. Even though she could see the future, ultimately it is just a vision of the end. It is not Azaka Kokuto or Risu Miyazuki that killed Konofumio in this situation. I don't know, but I feel that the murderer could be someone besides them. Careful there, Shizune-san. What you just said means that the killer is among one of us. I won't be merciful if you become my enemy. Yeah, no matter how cute of an animal Seo-san becomes, I will still eat you up in one bite. That's not what I mean. What I mean is, there would be the presence of an eighth person. Am I right, Seo-san? Oji-senpai, that's right. Isn't that like a repertoire of a mystery? Maybe there's a suspect X that had not revealed himself yet. That was too naive. Do you have any evidence, Oji-senpai? There is. Have you heard of the rumor about the undead disease in the Natsume Hall? Oh. Oh, this is in the past. Okay. Okay. Because remember, Shiki said you were one of the progenitors to Shizune Seo. Okay, let's learn here. We shook our heads. I had heard of countless rumors about Natsume Hall, but this is the first I had heard of the undead disease. I accidentally overheard it at the Oji house. The Natsume Hall used to be a sanatorium. Well, of course, with a layout like this, who else would be here? There was a young lady that was infected with a new kind of virus. Immortality illness. There was a billionaire that pitied her misfortune. He adopted her and he hid her in a hotel or some sort. Immortality, which could be the undead disease, right? It could be a good thing, right? No end to your life. You could be young forever, popular forever, forever continue on this way. Who knows? Let's not touch on the topic of immortality. If there was someone with a body that could not die no matter what, I feel that is the most horrifying thing. Ah, so that's a snake. The snake that was reborn from its shed skin is a symbol of infinity. Hey, that's an important thing for Gilgamesh in Fate. But the ending should be unfortunate. Even though it is out of goodwill, in reality, after seeing an undying person, the owner of the hotel was terrified, and he did his best to seal off the devil, right? Ryogi-san said it elegantly as if she was singing, but there was no hint of earnestness. Even though she had little to no interest in finding the killer, she seemed happy when discussing about weird rumors. However, the hotel had been abandoned and handed over to the school? I don't think there'll be anyone like that here. Of course, the owner of the Natsume Hall passed away. There were no records nor documentation of the stepdaughter leaving the hotel, though. Are you implying that the girl with the undead illness is still here in the hotel? That is in the case, or if the story is true. I think that should be of if the story is true. Furthermore, you would know if you asked Miyazuki-san, so I'll say it first. The Natsume Hall is originally owned by Juzo Kono-san. Fumio Kono is his only daughter. Hold on. The motive to kill Kono-san appeared all of a sudden. I understand now. It's becoming more and more interesting. Please don't stall it anymore, Oji-senpai. You already know the name of the undead girl, right? Oji-senpai nodded her head. Her name is Kanata Ishizue. She committed a series of murders 7 years ago. She could not be executed even though she was to be given a death sentence. I don't need to further explain the reason she was here. Kono used the condition that he donated a huge fund, took her from the hands of the high judiciary because she would not die no matter what. Interesting. 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 5. It was already 10 p.m. when we weren't aware of it. We swallowed our saliva due to the unexpected turn of events. Or rather, we were thirsty after having more than an hour of long discussion. Allow me to be the one to brew a pot of tea for everyone. Asagami-san left her seat and walked towards the kitchen on the second floor. Asagami-san was not fazed at all by the tale we had heard just now. Shiki-chan, do we need to accompany Asagami-san? It's all right. Don't worry about the female Terminator. Weird reference, but all right. Let's get back to the topic, Oji-senpai. How did Miyazuki-san know about Kono-san's situation? Ryogi-san asked while she leaned forward as if she's trying to open some sort of curious switch. Miyazuki-san and Kono-san were roommates. They were roommates. Sorry. Did I really just reference a frickin' ancient vine? Oh my god. I apologize. I don't deserve to be reading things on YouTube. They were really close and will discuss anything together no matter what. It seemed that Kono-san was really proud this morning. They are here on a honeymoon or some sort. Ryogi-san was disappointed. In the end, Kono-san did not meet the undead girl. The only one who knew about the undead girl should be Kono-san that was killed. The next step should be to enter the room that no one had entered before. Or rather, the room that no one is able to enter. Room 0. Room 0, located at the center of Natsume's hall, has a door that cannot be opened. When everyone was deciding on the room this morning, door 0 was already locked. We thought that the room was just locked at that time. Now the situation changed. The guest rooms could only be locked from the inside. If that thing is still alive, who took the key to room 0 and what does the room look like? Let's ask Miyazuki-san. She should be awake. Hey, don't we literally just have someone who has the ability to kill locks? Oh, but you know what, though? She's not interested in this, which is that's kind of a hilarious thing where it's like, she's like, I could solve the murder, but I don't really care. Interesting. Ryogi-san stood up first. Please hold on. Let's wait till Asagami-san returns to head there together. She would be worried if we suddenly disappeared. The woman that traveled the Pacific Rim wouldn't be because of such a small thing. Hold on. Why would she stay here? Huh? The pitch of her voice rose at the sudden question. The reason for Fujino Asagami staying at the Natsume Hall was... What was it again? I also don't know about that. Do you know, Oji-san? Oh, nobody knows why she's here. I don't know. Now that I think about it, Ryogi-san, Seo-san, why did you two come to Natsume Hall? I was here to collect bugs. No, I'm here every day because I was collecting survey information of the area. What about you? I'm here because I was invited by Shiki-chan to spend the weekend together. That's right. I heard from someone that I know that no one could casually just use this place during the weekend, so I came. See, this is the invitation. Well, that's a seal from the chairman, and it seems real. So everyone else is here for the same reason? We didn't manage to verify the reason. I thought it was some sort of gathering going on at the moment. Saw everyone gathered when I arrived. It seems that Asagami-san arrived earlier than Oji-san. Yeah, I came after noon. I was lost on the way here. Thank goodness for Kono-san that I found my way here. Asagami-san came back while holding a tray with tea for everyone. She showed us her usual calm grin after placing her tray down. So, what is it? Oh yeah, I was lost. That's why I was last to arrive. Moving on, Asagami-san, did Kono-san act weirdly to you? Did you happen to notice if she was nervous to see unexpected guests such as yourself showing up? Who knows? I wasn't close to Kono-san, so I couldn't compare if she was any different from her usual form. However, she was cheerful while chatting with Miyazuki-san. Their conversation includes we had found the medicine the illness could be treated or something. I wasn't paying much attention at the time. I feel that there could be any special meaning to the conversation after discussing with you. Well, that's the answer. We riposted. If this is Shuzei or whatever is still here, wouldn't Miyazuki-san and Kokuto-san be in danger? Since room 4 was blocked and they cannot escape now. I can't wait anymore. Let's head to room 0 now. We rushed towards the atrium. The first and second floors were connected through the stairs located at the lobby of the first floor. Even though it was rather obvious, I will emphasize on this part because it is important. Kokuto-san, are you still awake? Oji-san immediately yelled as she was close to the door leading to room 3. There was no reply. We moved the blockage. The door wasn't locked. Kokuto-san did not lock the door from the other side. Oh my god, I'm just reading here. The first thing that came into view was the ball of yarn. No, it's a human ball of yarn. Asaka Kokuto was sitting on the floor and had both her hands out, dead. Okay, so now I'm confused again. What's going on? What's going on? Why are we dying over and over? What's going on? Is that the death knell in the legends? There's no such thing, Oji-senpai. The reason of death is due to multiple wounds at the abdomen area. It could be due to penetration from metallic balls at close range. Ryogi-san bent down to examine Kokuto-san's body. She seemed to be pretty happy. She didn't even show any sign to let poor Kokuto know that she died in that position to have any peace. The aggressive Kokuto-san was finished off so cleanly. The theory of the killer in room 0 is becoming more and more real. What about Miyazuki-san? Kokuto-san was already killed, so what about Miyazuki-san at room 1? Let's hurry to room 1. It's locked. Miyazuki-san, please respond. There was no replying to the yelling. We've run out of options. Please step away, Seo-san. Let me think of a plan. Shiki-chan, the plan... Ryogi-san was suddenly wielding a katana in her hands. She removed the katana from its sheath, pointed it towards the border between the wall and the door, and thrust the katana between the gap in the door where the lock was. There's no way. It's impossible. Baka! The blade snapped cleanly. Ryogi-san stuck her tongue out and gave an embarrassed smile. Really? What? The blade snapped cleanly. Ryogi stuck out her tongue and gave an embarrassed smile. That is, again... I can't imagine her doing that. And what does this mean? I can't read that. Hey! Oji-senpai Dodger, you'll die! What? The broken blade is embedded onto Kokuto-san's back. Huh. Room 3 unexpectedly became a scene of carnage. Oh, so the blade snapped cleanly, and then it flew in the air. Okay, I see what's happening. Fortunately, Oji-senpai only lost a few strands of hair. Shiki-chan, don't blame me. I think it's impossible, even with Jigen Ryu. Is that her? That's not the problem. The problem is you nonchalantly pulling out a katana. There's no other way. The situation forced me to use this method. Oh, here we go. Which method? Oji-san took out something that resembled a Swiss Army knife from her pocket and inserted the wire into the keyhole. Oh, never mind. I got it wrong. I thought someone else was going to take out a Swiss Army knife and cut it, but I guess I'm wrong. Jigen Ryu. I'm going to Google that quickly. Because isn't that her... Isn't that like her noble phantasm? We go Shiki, Ryogi, Jigen Ryu. Let's see here. I'm Googling here. What is her Jigen? Well, nothing according to the Type Moon Wiki. And God, I can't find anything here. Okay, well, what is Jigen Ryu? Let's just Google that, period. Jigen Ryu is a traditional school of Japanese martial arts. Okay, that's it? Okay, practicing with a tree. Okay. Sounds good. Best we're going to get then for now. Just looking up info. Anyways, I guess Oji-san has a lockpick. Oji-san, is that a lockpick? Be quiet. This is the hobby of a lady. Lockpicking skills from the Lattice Pie detective novels. This hotel's built after the wall, so picking the lock should be easy. Oh, it's open. Oji-senpai ignored the rest of us that were shell-shocked and walked through the burnt room 2 and reached the door to room 1. The structure should be the same. Give me a moment. Oji-senpai unexpectedly kept the audiences on hold. We watched the back of our senpai that became a little more reliable than usual. Suddenly, the ringing of the clock could be heard at the atrium. It was 12 o'clock midnight. Unknowingly. There were still 5 hours away from dawn from the future that no one survives. If we could determine that the killer and capture the person, at least we could change that future. Sound of lock opening. Well, that was easy. Let's open the door. Is everyone ready? Oji-senpai didn't really have to ask any more questions. How was the situation like in the room with Risu Miyazuki in it? Think about the problem and solution first, then face it with a conscious mind. That's the advice from Oji-senpai. We nodded good, she said, and opened the room to door 1. When the sight of room 1 was in view, everyone had to suppress their gag reflex. There was a masterpiece placed in the center of the room. There was a body twisted to look like a screw. Only the head was spared without a trace of blood. The bottom half of the body was dry as a twig, completely drained of blood. It had the name of Risu Miyazuki. Well, now we know they can't adapt it because there's just so much horrible carnage. Like, more so than usual. Miyazuki-san. She's dead too. We were dizzy from the smell of blood which came from the door of room 0. The blockage at room 4 was still intact, which means that the area was still considered a sealed room. The hiding place for the person that killed Kokuto-san and Miyazuki-san should be at room 0. That's right. Are you going to show off your skill, Oji-senpai? Yeah. Even though I'm really sorry, but it is the only way. Let us reveal the truth about Natsume Hall. Once again, Oji-senpai headed towards the locked door. I shifted my view and my gaze landed on pale Fujino Asagami that was leaning on the wall. Asagami-san, are you unwell? Yes, the smell's too strong. I'm sorry, I shall return to room 2 to take a rest. Asagami-san shakily left room 1. I was contemplating if I should follow her. Are you done, Oji-senpai? This is your last chance to shine. Are you able to do your best? It seems this is the only modern lock. Very well. No matter. I shall use my second special ability. Alright, it seems the conditions are met. It should work. But it didn't work. The exchange between Ryogi-san and Oji-senpai seemed interesting. I decided to stay behind. Oji-senpai continued on her battle. The only sound heard from the room that stank of blood was ka-chak, ka-chak. Shizune Seyo laid the body of Miyazuki-san on the floor before covering it with the bedsheet out of pity. Just as she completed the work. All right. Oji-senpai's triumphant voice was accompanied with the sound of the door being unlocked. The hinge of the door moved as the metal door opened. The inside was a gray hospital ward that was made out of cement. In the rectangular cell laid a... ... 7. Dead body. There laid a body that looked like a teenager around the age of 14 on a simple steel bed. She was wearing a pure white wedding dress, as if she was still just asleep, or that she died peacefully in her sleep. Ryogi-san observed her with mild displeasure. Her expression was a disappointment, as if a young child waking up to empty Christmas socks on Christmas Day itself. Ryogi-san, is she dead? Yes, her heart had definitely stopped even though there was no obvious wound. Didn't she have the undead disease? That's right. However, it should have been treated and that's why she's dead. She finally had what she couldn't have before. How could it... Oji-senpai shakily leaned onto the wall. I was speechless. I thought I could finally see a specimen that would never perish, but once again, I was disappointed. In the end, the person that murdered Kokuto-san and Miyazuki-san was not the one that was cured from the undead disease. Is that correct? If you didn't think that way, there won't be any solution left, Oji-senpai. Rooms 0 till 3 were properly sealed rooms. The perpetrator could only be the person inside. Right, the only person left is this Ishizue-san. The body could only be this stiff after 20 hours. Our opportunity was just right. If it were another night, it would have started to rot. Wait, hold on, Shiki-chan. Are you saying that this person... That's right. The first victim. Kokuto-san. Nor even Not Kokuto-san, nor even Kono-san, was not killed by her. Who was the killer of these people? There were no motive and method. However, if one could use the process of elimination... Wait, Shizune-san, where did that Cloverfield woman, Asagami-san, go? Cloverfield? Like the movie? That's all I can think about. Okay. That's a strange thing to say, but alright. I haven't seen Cloverfield. Nor Cloverfield Lane, so I don't know if it ties in at all. Oh, Asagami-san, she went to the floor below. Ryogi-san ran towards the atrium without listening to everything. We followed her. When we were attempting to open room 0, Ryogi-san entirely ignored Asagami-san's condition. Asagami-san, where are you? Come out quickly. Ryogi-san's worried voice echoed at the atrium. There was no sign of Asagami-san at all, including the kitchen and the canteen. Come to think of it. Remember the lights at the third room at the northern side were on. It had a sign on it that said collection room with some kind of bad smell coming out of it. Shiki-chan, let's head to the collection room. That's the exhibition room. We rushed through the pitch-black corridor and reached the heavy wooden door. The door was locked again, another sealed room. It is time for Oji-senpai to shine. Collection room, or known as the frame vault. The walls that were covered entirely with frames, while there were so many butterflies that filled these frames. This is the exhibition room for inspect specimens. No, thrift shop. Asagami Fujino. That was the 5th body that used to have snow-white skin but was bitten by millions of poisonous bugs that turned the skin into green patches. The time is now 2 a.m. There were 3 more hours till dawn, till the end. Bro, everyone's dying. 8. Alright, let's start. Made up my mind. Shizune Seo, that could predict the future, was alone in the kitchen. She gave her cheeks a little pat to gain confidence. 9. What are these numbers? 3 a.m. Lounge at level 2. Messiah Oji and Shizune Seo that couldn't fall asleep listened to the rain while drinking black tea to warm themselves up. Shizune-san, where is Ryoki-san? She's at room 7 because that's the most suitable place to sleep. She said because Ishizue-san already passed away, there's nothing fun to do anymore, thus went to sleep. That's really troublesome, just like in the past. She was rarely motivated. Well, she was. It was only because of Ishizune. She entirely ignored the murders that happened. Shiki-chan was really cold toward things that were not interesting to her. She was like that since she was young. Since young? You knew Ryoki-san before Shizune-san? Yes, my house was next to Shiki-chan's house. At the same time, the other side was Kokuto-san's house. I'm going to have the same surname with Kokuto-san after I graduate. What? What? 2 big things here. 1, Shizune Seo lived across from Shiki. And then Kokuto on the other side? Huh. What? What is going on? Alright, even though I didn't really understand that, but it seems you have a really complicated relationship. Oji-san felt embarrassed and had to avert her eyes at the face that was filled with happiness. She didn't predict that she would be fondly spoken to at this kind of situation. Is it not necessary to find the killer now? There are only a few of us left, senpai. It's alright, because the killer was Asagami-san. Messiah Oji gracefully sipped at the black tea and smiled. The smile was more of a reassurance kind of smile rather than a prideful one. Asagami-san was the killer, but she was... That was suicide. She was probably backed into a corner without a way out. Thus she ate poison to kill herself. If not, there won't be anybody to explain the locked room. The room was locked in, and there were no signs of struggle on the body. What else could it have been than suicide? But it wouldn't explain the other cases. If Asagami-san was the murderer, then how did she kill Kono-san and the others that were in the sealed rooms? Oji-san listlessly bowed her head. After a few seconds of silence, Shizune-san, even though it's really sudden, but it is ultimately my hypothesis, do you believe in superpowers? Huh? Superpowers. I couldn't help myself as I blinked my eyes when I heard those childish words. Messiah Oji that could read Shizune Seo unconsciously backed away. It could be because she wouldn't believe in it, so that's for the better. She was always like that, her kindness that could ruin herself. I apologize. Let me phrase it in another way. Fujino Asagami has the ability to observe and murder from a distance. I can't tell you her method, but she has it. It is one of her weapons. Maybe she used the structure of the rooms to set some kind of trap. We don't know how it works, or what the technique is called. I'll just call it superpowers. To observe the target from afar. Is it clairvoyance? What is that? Mochi-senpai tilted her head in confusion. Even though she mentioned superpowers, it seems she didn't have any knowledge on it. So, Fujino Asagami's skill was considered to be a non-superpower kind of powers or something. Asagami-san is able to use long distances to be able to kill someone. Is that what you're trying to say, Oji-senpai? That's right. Your comprehension skills are quite remarkable, Shizune-san. Even though I cannot explain in detail, she must have had some sort of small-scale wireless electronic... Huh? Messiah Oji immediately used her hand to cover her mouth. However, it was too late. The poison was already in her system. How do you know about the poison? What are you doing? Shizune. Is it you? She fell onto the carpet while dragging the contents of the table with her. Messiah Oji twitched as she stared up at Shizune Seo that was peacefully sipping her tea. Why? Killer was Asagami Fujino? I don't believe that, but I do believe in superpowers, Oji-senpai. There are methods to murder from long distance, otherwise there will be two cases that'll be unexplainable. The first is that of Risu Miyazuki, which should be done by Asagami-san. We, Shizune Seo, Shikiryogi, and Messiah Oji were chatting at the lounge. Fujino Asagami left her seat. She should have done something at that time. Well, the suspect that murdered Fujino Asagami was reduced till 3 people. Shizune Seo and Shikiryogi, as well as Messiah Oji. Among them, Shizune Seo and Shikiryogi were not the killer. The one that killed Asagami-san was you, senpai. Ugh. Senpai didn't deny. Must be because she was dying. This person will not deny her own lies. She's good in that way. Shiki-chan said I'm not interested in the murder cases. At the same time, she didn't have any suspicious actions. So the one that was left behind is you, Oji-senpai. Because of these reasons you poisoned me? You really are daring, Shizune-san. You didn't find any solid evidence of any method of killing? Even though I can see the future, but I don't know the methods. I am not God. This is just a simple question of probability. Probability? Are you saying that I was suspicious? Miyazuki-san and Asagami-san's deaths were too weird and were not logical. However, there's another thing that bothers me about you, senpai. What was it? Because you know how to pick locks. Because of that? Cough. Messiah Oji violently coughed and fell to the floor. I gave a sigh and leaned onto the sofa due to the guilt from killing Messiah Oji. If I didn't deal with the killer, the dawn will not arrive. No matter how many people that love and respect senpai to avoid that future, I can only do this. That's what I kept telling myself. What's the use of that? Even though the future will be postponed, we don't have a future anymore. There were too many people that died. We had blood on our hands. Even though life goes on, if the truth is revealed, Shizune Seo's life will be over. It's that kind of ending again. Why is the ending really sad? However, I have a future now. I will see the dawn and I'll give myself up. How could that be? I closed my eyes to observe the future. Can't be. Nothing changed. Was I wrong? Oji-senpai was not the killer? No way. Messiah Oji was the one that killed Fujino Asagami. Messiah OG did not deny the proof before she was killed. So I misunderstood a premise, such as the killer could be me, such as there could be one more person that did not turn up yet, such as the killer could not be only one person. I analyzed the first to third murders. The first victim was Ishizue, that was killed by Fumino Kono. That was because she was the daughter of the owner of this hotel, so she should recognize this Ishizune person. They keep changing how they spell some of these characters' names. The second victim, Fumio Kono, was killed by Azaka Kokuto staying next door. That was because she could easily rush in to room 2 and commit murder. Also, the flames. The third victim, Azaka Kokuto, was murdered by Risu Miyazuki. She used the same method as how Azaka Kokuto murdered Fumio Kono. So, there would be a killer that accompanies the victim. There will not be a common reason or motive among all the murderers. It was as if everyone gathered at the hotel to be murdered. Badump. Kono-san was here to murder Ishizue-san. Even though the reason was not clear, but Asagami-san killed Miyazuki-san. The OG-senpai that saw through Asagami-san killed her. Badump. So what about me? Shizune Seo's reason of staying at the hotel. I reached into my pocket. There was the hotel invitation that she gave to me. But dump. That's great. There's no one left that will get in my way, Shizune-san. Sound of footstep. Shizune Seo didn't even have the time to turn her head towards the muttering she heard behind her. Blood splattered across the lounge. The brain that was chopped off saw the future that it has left the body. This kind of ending again. I closed my eyes silently. Oh. Oh boy. I still have questions about a lot of this. Okay, so room 0, right in the middle. That's where Shizui is. Kokuto was killed by Miyazuki. Kono was killed by Kokuto. Oji was killed by... Wait. Is it going outwards? No, No, never mind. It's not following an order. But Asagami was killed by Oji. Seo killed Oji. And now I guess Ryogi kills Seo. But why? But why? What? I will say this chapter is remarkably much better translated than the last one. Like, holy crap. Much, much, much better, which makes me excited for reading the last one. I still don't know what's going on, really. I hope to. I hope to eventually. But right now, I certainly don't. Like, I understand... I understood chapter 1. I understood chapter 2, but I'm trying to figure out how they're connected. And it's looking like chapter 3 might be going the same way. So, alright guys, thank you all for watching along, for listening, for reading along. I don't know what's gonna happen. My only thought is there's some light novel, not light novel, but visual novel shenanigans going on with like reloading saves and, that sort of stuff. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see. All right, guys. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you next time for Chapter 3. Ciao.